All right, so Blown Away is a 1993 erotic thriller film starring Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and Nicole Eggert. And it follows Rich, who, during what seems to be a random rescue of a girl, he forms a bond when he goes to her party one night, hooks up with her, and they become really close. He starts to find out that she may not be all there, and there might be some tension, and there's some tension between her and her father, and she's very complicated. And there's murders, and cops get involved, and there's framing, and sibling rivalry, bad family past. So, first and foremost, I had a phase quite a few years ago where I got into the two Coreys. I was trying to find any movie I can. That's how I found Dream a Little Dream. The Lost Boys, one of the best movies in the 80s. They were good at that. So I found Dream a Little Dream. I found Dream a Little Dream 2. They were both on YouTube at the time. I don't think either of them are on there. Blown Away was also on there. Same thing with Fever Lake, but that was just Corey Haim. And, I got License to Drive. I was Licensed to Kill. That's a wrong movie. I got License to Drive as well, which I am going to do at some point. And so, yeah, I really got into it. This one, while having both Coreys in it, is more of Corey Haim's film than it is Feldman. Feldman's in it, but he's more of a side character until the reveal at the end. He's something else. But, yeah, so like I said, he and his brother, they work at this resort, and during which he runs into Nicole Eggert's character of, I forgot her name. Megan. That's her name. Megan. And his brother's name is Wes. He runs into Megan, he saves her life, and she repays him by inviting her to her party. Now, there is a scene where he and Wes and their friends are sitting there, and they show that they all have an address. The same address. One of the guys has on his back. We don't see these two guys again, by the way, in the film, but after their little stint at the party. But, I'm sorry, it's sweating in here, so I'm going to take my hat off. I don't like to show my bald head, but you're going to have to deal with it because it's there. But anyway, so, he goes to this party, and right away he finds her, and he hooks up with her. And what I like is the director did. I don't know who directed it. Hold on, I still got the Voodoo thing on. I watched this on Voodoo. What's this? It's in good quality too. Hold on. Brenton Spencer was the director. He did a good job with certain things, especially the music in this. It starts off with the music at the party, right? And it's really weird because you wouldn't think that it would happen this fast. Because he finds her and she's like, "You saved my life. I want to thank you." And then they start making out. And then he starts filling her up, and she's like, "Rip it off." So he rips her bra open, and then rips her panties off, and then they get to going. He gets to going downtown, if you know what I mean. And then that's when the music changes from the music in the background. It's at the party to this, intense thriller type. It's not like boom, bam, bam. It's not like that kind of music. It's a musical score, like a thriller music. Like, it's very serious sounding, and it works. I like the transition from that. That is until we get the montage of them cavorting around later in the film to some of the most weird. The music sounds like it belongs in a kid's film, to be honest. It's very weird music. You find out her father is very strict, and Also, we're shown at the beginning of this that her mother is on the way to her birthday party a year earlier, and she dies. Very obviously, it's an explosion, but they say it was a car accident. They say, they tell Rich it was a car accident. She was drunk, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not what we saw. If that's, if right away we know something is going on. If they wanted us to have that kind of disbelief, they wanted us to kind of, think that it was a accident, they should have not shown that, but who knows. So he meets the dad because they may or may not have overslept. I'm not 100% sure on that yet, but hold on. Wait. Yeah. And he seems like an okay guy, but she says he's too strict to her, and she wants to kill him, which is our first indication that something's not right. Now, there's a twist later in the film. It really isn't a twist if you think about it, because of something that happened. So Rich sort of has a girlfriend already in Darla, and he finds out that she's actually been hooking up with Wes, his brother. He gets mad, but the thing is, the argument they have isn't over her. It's over Megan, because apparently Megan told Rich that Wes made a move on her. This was apparently to sever their brotherly relationship. They get into a fight. But Darla doesn't hear them. He says, it's not about Darla, it's about Megan. She didn't hear that. She comes down and she's like, you don't owe me, Rich. I'm like, you really didn't hear him say that? You came in right after he said it. I mean, then of course, we get this scene where, like, Corey Feldman's coming on to her. And she's like, no, Wes, I don't want to. And then he's like, this is where it's revealed she was using him to get to Rich, but he claims to actually have feelings for her, and he gets very, it gets very dark. And the next scene we see her, she's dead. Rich finds her body on the trail. Yeah. And so right then and there, you know, Wes has to be in on it, right? If they didn't have that scene before, I don't think it would have worked. I mean, I think it would have... Okay, let me change that. If they didn't have the scene before, I think it would have worked for us to believe that it was Megan that did it out of jealousy, right? But, one, there's no scene wherein... Like, we don't see a scene where she finds him beaten up and she thinks that it's Darla they're fighting over. Because there's no scene where he tells her, oh, he was hooking up with my ex-girlfriend. And if they had done that, maybe that would have made more sense. Because you're supposed to be misdirected away from Wes to believe he's not connected. This blatantly reveals, this plain eye view reveals that he's involved in it somehow. And yes, it is revealed she's been manipulating him. She tells him there's a bomb on her dad's bike and it's going to go. Her dad invites him to go with it, even wants him to ride his bike. Motorcycle. He says no, and then the bomb goes off. The dad, for some reason, thinks that Rich did it because she set it up where she told him the bomb was on there, and when he went to take it off, the dad caught him. So he thinks he put the bomb on there because he caught him in the garage. And later the cops say that his fingerprints were on the tools. He doesn't spill the beans. He ends up going to jail because of this, because they find the body, which, wouldn't they have already found the body? If the cops were called or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But they find the body and he's clutching a piece of Rich's jacket in it. And so that's incriminating evidence. But he gets out on bail thanks to her. And he's smart. She gives him a car which she told was stolen earlier on in the film, and he checks the car to make sure there's no bombs in it. He then goes back home. He gets his stuff. Wes is gonna leave town apparently, and he starts to drive away. It becomes nighttime. He's driving, and the car starts to act weird. He goes to kind of try to push it because it's stuck, and he sees the bomb. Now, this is where I have a problem. So, he sees the bomb, and instead of running that way from behind the car, like he's behind the car, he sees the bomb, instead of running, in the direction the other way away from the car, he runs forward. Instead of running back, he runs forward. Wouldn't it be easier just to run back instead of forward? Because there was like less than 5 seconds on that thing. Running back would have been a logical step, but he gets away. He's, safe. And then we get the reveal. She and Wes were both in on it together. Because Wes shows up and it looks like he's going to try to get revenge. Or like that he murdered her. We find out that because Wes visits him in prison and goes off on him, we find out that their dad beat him and their mom. And he's like, well, if you had it in it to kill someone, why didn't you kill Dad? I was like, okay. I get it, but I haven't watched this before. I know it's just a mislead. And so, yes, it's revealed they're both in it together, but then Megan shoots Wes and tries to claim it was her, or it was him, manipulating her the entire time, but she ends up getting shot out of a window by the cops because Rich was wearing a wire, and then it shows him alone, which, like, we're supposed to believe that now everybody, Darla, Wes, and Megan, they're all gone, so there's nobody left. His parents are still alive. And somehow still married? I don't know about domestic disputes, but if I was a woman getting beat by a man, I think at one point I'd have enough and leave. I know there's certain things where, you can't leave or you don't want to leave, but all that is very dramatized for TV shows. I think it's a little more cut and dry in reality. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that. Like, if you have enough of something, you're done, you're leaving. If he was beating on both of them throughout their entire childhood, and here they're supposed to be in their early 20s, I think, which is another problem because maybe they're supposed to be 19. I don't know. But Megan is only 17. Now, does no one have a problem with the fact that she's fucking 2 guys, and Wes is supposed to be older, I think, even though they were actually the same age, but I don't know. It's a little weird that she's only 17, and I know in some places 17 is a legal age of consent, sure, but the dad knows that they're fucking. How couldn't he? And he's very nonchalant about the situation. Like, he allows Rich to eat supper with them. He allows Rich to go on a bike ride with him. No, it wouldn't be that way. If you have a 17-year-old daughter, like, you're not, and you have a 19, 20-year-old guy, is sleeping with your daughter, there's no way you're going to be that nonchalant. Yes, it's legal age of consent in some places, but she's 17. It's underage, and it just doesn't. And also, he allows her to drink wine. I don't know. And she smokes too, which I guess is supposed to make her more evil. I don't know, but I don't know. Up until the reveal, or up till a certain point, like, it's a good film up until you get to where Darla dies, I think. There's still some good stuff after this, but at that point, it's trying to make you believe that Wes is behind everything, when clearly it has to be Megan. Because how long have they been cooking this up? Like, she clearly is responsible for the death of her mother. How could Wes have anything to do with it? Clearly, Wes was only brought in afterwards to get the money from her dad. That's what I'm getting from this. So, she killed her mother because she slept around and she was an alcoholic or something. I don't know. And then she killed her dad, and then so she got the money. Maybe she did it a year apart so it wouldn't be that obvious. I don't know, but still, if I was a cop, I'd be like, well, your mother died a year ago. Exactly 1 year later, your dad dies. It's a little coincidental there. A little too much, maybe. But, yeah. And so once that is, they're trying to make you think that it's him. And then you get the reveal it's both of them. And it's just like, yeah, but clearly she was manipulating him too. And then she shoots him in the back. And, yeah, it was her all along. She was using both of them. She didn't care about any of them. Although she does claim that she did love Rich, which I don't know if that's true or not, but who knows. The movie for me is still a pretty good watch. I enjoyed watching it again, even though I knew what was going to happen. And yeah, when it gets to that point with Darla's death, it just like, okay, they're trying to make you think it was him the entire time. And of course, because, he figures out, because like I said, he checks when he leaves the police station, it's not there. And he realizes that the bomb didn't show up till after he left Wes at their place. So obviously he's involved. Yeah. So, yeah. I think it's a decent movie. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. It's a decent film. I do kind of recommend it if you love those kind of erotic thrillers. And it is very erotic. There's a lot of sex scenes in this. They're like 4 or 5. Okay, so let me talk about that too. The acting in this film is pretty good. Haim and Feldman kill it. Nicole Eggert's okay too. She's not as good as the other two, but she's still pretty good. The sex scenes. When it's Haim and Eggert, it's good. But there's one scene with Feldman and Eggert towards the end of the film where they have sex. It looks like Feldman's in pain. Like, he's not a bad actor by any means, but it looks like he's in pain. Sorry, he's like he's in pain or something. I don't know what that's supposed to signify, but it looks like he's in pain. But yeah, it's not a bad film, but it's not a great film. Like I said, I give it a 7 out of 10. So what are your thoughts on Blown Away? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.